Richard Sloggett, who's Senior Fellow at the Policy Exchange's Health and Social Care Unit and served as a Special Advisor to Matt Hancock. Can I ask you that same question, Mr. Sloggett? Again, it's not now going to go forward, but the idea, no jab, no entry, what sort of incentivisation needs to happen to ensure people take the vaccine in maximum numbers? Morning to you.
Good morning, Nick. Yeah, I think it's a real challenge. If you look at some of the sort of polling and public attitudes, there is a significant portion of the population who are sceptical about taking this vaccine, and some of that is to do with the kind of anti-vax movement, who are sort of conspiracy theorists. But there are a sort of wealth of others who are just concerned about the speed at which this has been rolled out. So it's a huge public communications challenge that the government is faced with, and that the new vaccines minister Nadhim Zahawi is going to have to grapple with. So it's going to be a real push and effort needed to kind of have a clear sort of set of health messages that actually do make sure that people do take up this jab, as well as the logistical challenges that your previous caller was discussing. I don't think vaccine passports, as has been said, was a good idea, and it's probably welcome that it's been dropped.
If you'll allow, and indeed you might not, but if you'll allow that the provision of PPE was at best slow, if not closer to lamentable, what do they need to this time to make sure they get this right?
Well, I think it's much better to have carrot than stick in this case. I think you've got to focus the messages on the safety aspects rather than the risks. And sometimes it's even really simple things like talking about jabs and needles is probably to be avoided, because even for certain people, that thought of putting a needle in and having a needle be put in themselves, or indeed someone close to them, is not necessarily something that they would want. So it's even really simple things like that are really, really important, as well as stressing over and over again the safety elements of this, because it has been done at speed, but it has been done safely, and the regulator has now approved it. I think that's really, really important.
What role might the military have to play here?
So I think as we've seen through, and you mentioned PPE, for example, I think the sort of military has played a role in that from a logistical perspective, and they're obviously logistical experts. So using them in terms of helping in transportation and moving equipment and kit around the country, I think is very, 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 very welcome. So I could see them providing a really important role on that side.
Grateful for your time. Thank you. Richard Sloggett, Senior Fellow at Policy Exchange's Health and Social Care Unit, and you served Special Advisor to Matt Hancock.